tourism is so much important to the development of our great country, in the essence that there are a lot of potentials embedded in tourism, and we cannot talk about tourism without talking about the culture. And when we talk about culture, culture means the way of life of the people, the way they eat, the way they drink, the way they sleep, the way they breathe, the way they move from one place to another, and the way they interact among themselves. So bringing this into tourism, this could add value to the GDP of a country, in the essence of cultural exchange. You bring people from other countries to Nigeria to come and study, to come and learn how you go about your way of life in terms of culture. And mind you, when people leave their country to come into your country, number one, they are coming in with hard currency. They are going to make a positive impact in the life of the people. Like tourists, when they come into a country, they stay in hotels. So you will see that the hotels, from the boutique hotels, from the 2-star, 3-star, up to 5-star hotel, they will have a lot to gain from these people coming in because of tourism. I've witnessed a scenario whereby some people came all the way from United Kingdom. What did they come to do here in Nigeria? When they placed a call to us, they said these guys are young students of tourism in the UK, but they told them about how African use wood to make a fire, to cook. So they only read it in their textbook, they watch it on our films, movies, but they want to, because they are used to using cooking gas over there. So we were contacted, and they flew into Nigeria, Abuja, and we took them to one of the villages here along the airport road. And what we did was to interact with the villagers, the chief in the village, organize your people, let them come and show this foreigner how you could use firewood to make fire and cook your food, and the cook will be ready for consumption. So these guys were surprised with what they saw. You could see those people flew in, they bought tickets, they make use of our airport, the airport makes money, they lodge in an hotel, the hotel makes money, they visited various restaurants, the restaurant makes money. Even the villagers, those that were organized by the chiefs, we got something, and that added value to that environment, to that community.
Event defines the bedrock or the foundation of tourism, because here we are talking about sustainable development goals, and for tourism, the emphasis has to be on sustainable activities, sustainable festival, sustainable travel. Everything that we talk about has to do with sustainability. And so this is the in thing, this is the current trend globally. And so I'm very pleased to be part of this event. I want to say on my part, we've been doing everything to create awareness and the role of the youth. In fact, youth tourism is one of the fastest growing segments within the tourism industry globally. But unfortunately, there is little awareness among the youth, not just the youth, but policymakers. And so what I do and I encourage is to go and create awareness, sensitize stakeholders, particularly the policymakers. And then I also collaborate, like for instance, my office is collaborating with the Ministry of Environment in Bayelsa State. My office is collaborating with the Traditional Rurals Council in Bayelsa State. My office is collaborating with the Ministry of Education through school kids in tourism clubs. I also go to universities to create university travel clubs. All this to create awareness. And we need to open the eyes of the youth to the numerous windows of opportunities, particularly the ones that will make them to be self-employed. So we need more of awareness, and that's why we need to collaborate. You can't do it alone. The Ministry of Information has to be involved, the Ministry of Education has a major role to play, the Ministry of Women Affairs, with, all the other ministries, because I don't see any ministry being left out in tourism, in collaboration. So that is what I am doing, but we need to do more. We need to also make sure that we push some of these things from the center to the state levels, because here at the center you have the embassies, here you have more opportunities, and the information dissemination, the flow between the center and the states, sometimes the gap is very wide. I'm here, I've been opportunity to be in Abuja for a while, attending various programs, and I see the enormity, of the work to be done in terms of collaboration, in terms of creating awareness. So
I need emphasis on value and also compliment the fact that if we don't point fingers on what we've already done, virtually did nothing. And what I mean by that is that if you go to in the US now, in Miami now, it's Miami now, trust me, what's the tourism volume that they have other than rights and the beach? And trust me, we all know we are Nigerian Africans, we have better beaches in Ibeju, we have it even all the way to Port Harcourt, and we know that too. So, and we as Nigerians, we do travel to Miami, we travel to places like that, even all the way to Bahamas, and we see what they also lay emphasis on. Why can't we do these things here? We can do it, we can develop it here, and do a turnaround. If I take all the way back to a State where I work now, where I stay personally, the value of culture, tourism, intent that are there, the content value. We're not talking about being tourists here, we're talking about value that money cannot afford. And wherever money cannot afford, it's a benefit for everyone. The last time I checked, if I take off my glasses and my cap, I'm going to give myself, you like everybody. So if I can do my best for youths to stay away from so many things that you know that are injustice in a way, and to put the stamp on what we have as Africans, which is the value. I keep touching on the word the value, because if you don't have value for feedback, it's impossible for you to have some relevance. And Osun State have it. The tourism value in Osun State, it's priceless. And I keep saying it. The development of Osun State tourism can be a bedrock of southwest of Nigerian money.
Today's program is very impressive and is an eye-opener, because for some of us, even though we interface with the publics, but we don't really know much about what the tourism sector is doing. But from the meeting today, I have been able to learn a lot, and we know that there are so many opportunities for the youth in this country to even develop themselves and also make a living for themselves, and also contribute in revenue generation for this country through tourism. On a very candid note, like I mentioned earlier, I believe so much in human capital development. And in life you can't give what you don't have. So I think first of all the youths need to connect with the tourism sector and also try to learn, understand the benefits. There are so many things, like when they mention, some of them can learn how to become tour guides, some of them can learn about culture, they can also showcase their cultures. Art and craft is also a good thing, which although we can see number of youths now, and even in the NYSC, I noticed that they teach them skills. So skills is something that people need, and that's why we appreciate the foreign countries. The foreign countries, they don't celebrate certificates the way we celebrate certificates here. They consider skills a lot.
So I think today's program is like the beginning for us. What I mean by this is that a lot of effort is being made towards developing tourism in Nigeria, but the efforts are not consolidated. In addition, we're not having the support we require, so we've actually made a lot of commitments in this discussion today, hoping that at least we can all come together, get support from the government, and then we can start tourism properly as it should be. Actually, the youth are the targets today. We're trying to tell the youth instead of always going around looking for a job, you can actually become a tour guide. You can invest in tourism. Now, what the government needs to do is to support these youth. How do I mean by this? They need to review some of the policies in place. For instance, now for a youth to become a tour guide, you require a certification from the hotel, and then if you go to NTGC, that's Nigerian Tourism Development Corporation, you have to present a registered office. How many youth today can actually provide, go to rent an office space and at the same time also go and pay for a certification? So now the government needs to tell the youth, if you want to be a tour guide, your briefcase can be your office. You don't have to have a registered office. I'm a tour guide. I don't have a certification from Niroto, and I don't have a registered office, but I organize tours around Nigeria, all over. So I think the youth should actually be assisted in this regard. They don't have to have all these things.
I represented my executive in this nation. My Director General is General Sani Kangiwa, Joaquin Kebi, fellow of his tourism professionals, fellow of Hartman. Today's event is an epoch-making event because tourism is coming to the front burner with this kind of coming together to share ideas and to brainstorm. Tourism will certainly take Nigeria to a greater height. So today's program to me is a success. It's something that will take something from further.
The last place, one of the attractions of today's event is award presentation. What with these awards, what the DG to do more, and what's your wall of appreciation organization that bestowed this award upon?
Thank you very much. If you listen to the convener of this program, he said that the DG didn't invite them for a discourse. Neither did he call meetings, neither did he delay. That we did what we gave them approval to collaboration. It's not once, it's not twice, it's not thrice. It is a trademark of my Director General to assist in any matter that is tourism, any matter that is positive. It's not the first award he's receiving. Last week, 2 weeks, I was the University of Nigeria and Suka, where he was given 3 awards. So he runs. This is not going to be the last. But what I want to say that it is for him to do much more than what he's doing, because that means people appreciate that he is doing good.
Today's program is one of the best programs I've attended so far. Tourism is not an industry of 1 or 2 businesses we can venture in. Tourism is a very wide and vast industry that we have in Nigeria, because it controls those in hospitality management, the chefs, the hotels, and also we, the artists, also are not left out in the tourism sector, because when you talk about information, culture, and history, art is part of information, culture, and history. And well, this program should not only be just we should come and just talk as the panelists or what. No. We need to act. We need implementation. We need a serious implementation from the government, from the international partners, and all. The youths need to attract the government, because the youths are already in the sector. It's the government that are not in the sector. They are not in the framework of the sector, but the youths are already involved. They are doing great things that you can't imagine, because if you can look at around, these carnival outfits are also made by the youths. So the youths are already in the picture. So I would like to call the attention of the federal government and international donors to venture in this business, invest in our youths very well, because our youths are amazing. They're very, very amazing.
Today's event is very important. It's an eye-opener, and it's actually a great potential for the tourism industry. It's very important we have gatherings like this, because knowledge, they said, is power. Like today's event, we have seen so many areas in which our youth can, be involved. Not only the youth, even the older ones. One good thing about tourism is there's no age boundary. In as much as we want the youth to be involved, even the elderly can also be involved. When you go to most of the tourist sites, the people you see there are the elderly, giving you the history. Without the history, there's nothing you can sell. So it cuts across across everybody, the youth, the elderly. It's just for us to know more about it, and we should be able to project it to be a way of life. The important thing about youth has power. You know, I mentioned the industry is not just for the youth, it's for everybody. The elderly ones have experience, but the youth have power. You know, you don't expect a 70-year-old man, though he has the street, to be jumping everywhere. But the youth will be able to, you know, carry it on. We are talking about sustainability. That's why the government must encourage the youth. We have said so many things about sponsoring them, about giving them scholarship, and of course making funds available. By so doing, this youth will be able to go the extra mile in doing this business. And we call it business. It's not just fun. In as much as you derive fun, it's entertaining, but it's going to be a source of income for even the youth. So dependability on parents will be reduced, and even the country, everybody will not be looking for white-collar jobs because you can, you know, start up something by yourself.
This event is to conceptualize sustainable tourism for Africa, and sustainable tourism is not possible without the youth. For tourism to be sustainable, there must be youth inclusion, because the youth are the future of any generation. So this program targets the youth, and the fact that the theme of this song is powering sustainable tourism through knowledge exchange, innovation, and collaboration. The federal government is doing something right already, that is partnering with us as private sector. Because don't let us forget, government cannot do everything. However, the government can go further by setting aside some youth-friendly policies that makes young people to get involved in sustainable tourism. One of the panelists was mentioning that there are certain requirements for registration for companies, certain stringent rules and regulations that needs to be relaxed for youth. So there must be a policy framework targeted at youth inclusion. Number two, the government of Nigeria must go from giving administrative and technical support to giving financial support. In Nigeria, we don't yet have a tourism empowerment fund. The government must set fund aside. During the pandemic that just ended, tourism did not receive any dedicated funding or dedicated bailout or support from government, and that shouldn't happen. In Egypt, in South Africa, in Kenya, in Tanzania, these African countries got dedicated fund in billions of rand or shillings or dollars to support tourism. We need to also replicate that in Nigeria. Because when these funds are set aside, it will be very easy for young people to engage in tourism entrepreneurship, to venture into sustainable entrepreneurship, sustainable businesses. We have some businesses like Japi Boat Club, some businesses like Sumarok Resort that are doing sustainable tourism business. But we can do better. Young people can engage in sustainable tourism business if there is a federal government powered tourism empowerment.
Thank you very much.